Hello and welcome to the Biz Talk Live Show. Yes, it's us again. We are here. I am your host, Shanté Roddy. You know, every week on Thursdays at 1 p.m., you want to meet us here because we have another fantastic entrepreneur story to share with you guys. That's why we're here, so that other entrepreneur stories can empower you and inspire you to pursue your dreams and to succeed in your business ventures. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Please hit the like button. If you love small business, hit the love button. Please leave your comments, say hi. We want to hear from you. We see you guys out there. If you are not here for the live and you come back for the replay, comment #replay for us. We want to know that you were here and want to know that you got great value out of our interview today. So I'm so happy to have Phyllis Johnson here with us. She is the CEO of PKJ Consulting. And we are going to learn about her story, and she's going to help us out today. So Phyllis, welcome to the Biz Talk Live Show.
Thank you. I am so happy to be here. So I appreciate you having me today.
You're so welcome. So to start off, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and who you serve.
Sure. So I am here in Las Vegas, where it's going to be about 107 degrees today. But I am the CEO and owner of PKJ Consulting. So we are a small business accounting consulting firm here in Las Vegas, but we serve clients all over North America and South America. So my company provides full services for small business owners, including accounting, payroll, HR, bookkeeping, taxes, marketing and operational services, and startups. So we really are that small, one-stop shop for a business owner who doesn't have the resources or the desire to have an accountant, a bookkeeper, an assistant, all in one, have to pay different people. So that's what my company does. And we also do, business plans and help people get funding.
Awesome. And how many years have you been in business?
So I started my company almost 5 years now, which is pretty cool. So before that, I was working in corporate America. So I'm originally from California. After this interview, I will be going to the Bay Area. So I'm originally from California. I went to Pepperdine for college, and then I moved to Las Vegas, and I went to UNLV and got my master's degree. My focus is on entrepreneurship management. So I've always had a passion for helping small business owners. So I've always worked for corporate America in accounting and HR roles. And then I decided to finally, do what I've always wanted to do, which was to really help other entrepreneurs and small business owners.
Yes, that's amazing. Congratulations on being in business for 5 years.
Thank you.
And so I know that accounting, bookkeeping, payroll is something that's really important for us as entrepreneurs and small businesses that a lot of times we don't think about, that we really need is part of the foundation of our business, because the financial health of our business is really the heartbeat, and knowing where our money is and what's happening with our money is so important. Would you agree with that?
I definitely agree with that. A lot of people wait until tax season to get their taxes done to then finally look at their financials, but they don't even know what's going on throughout their business. And I did an event with SCORE about a month ago, where I was talking about, a bookkeeper, accountant, is one of the first things that you should get when you start a business, because if you're not really keeping track of your income expenses, how do you know if you're profitable? How do you know how to make business decisions? How do you get a small business loan? A lot of times when it's time to really do something with your business, they want to see those numbers. So if you're not keeping track, it makes it a lot more difficult to really accomplish your goals.
Yes, I like that. It helps you to make business decisions. And I talk about this all the time because so many business owners and entrepreneurs are looking for funding in their business, whether they want to start up a business or they're looking to scale their business and they need funding if they're trying to buy new equipment or buy a new building, a new location. And that's what I tell people is that when you're looking for outside lending institution, they look at that. They want to know about how sustainable you are. They want to know because they consider us a risk, right? And so
Yes,
if they
exactly.
want to lend us money, they have to know, what their risk level is. What is their risk tolerance to loan you money, and if they feel like they're going to get it back. And so the big part of that is looking at your financials and making sure that we as business owners are keeping track of that, and that we are forecasting as well.
Yes,
Right?
definitely. And even when you are starting up with a business plan, I help clients do business plans, and the number one thing a person wants to see are those financials. You may have an amazing idea for a restaurant, and you have all these great marketing in the business plan, but the number one thing that your business plan needs to support is the financials have to support all the goals. How many clients are you going to have per day? How many meals are you going to serve? Have you get the prices for each meal? What's the salary going to be? All those things are important when you're asking for money. And then also, one of the biggest ways to not get in trouble with the IRS is to keep track of your financials. A lot of times during tax season, people will hire me to do a whole year's worth of bookkeeping, accounting, which we do. But, if I go back and say, okay, hey, you took out $600 out your ATM back July sometime. What was this for? Most of us don't know. We don't even know what we spent money on 2 days ago. And so, you're missing out on free write-offs if you're not really keeping track on a monthly basis.
Yes. So listen out there, because a lot of people don't know that is the write-offs that you can get. But if you're not tracking them, you're not keeping record. And on top of that, the IRS. So, I warn people about getting these not just seasonal tax preparers, but people that overpromise what they can do and aren't with you along your journey and not educating you along the way. You really want to make sure you're educating yourself and get someone that is like yourself, who is going to work in your best interest and help you as an advisor throughout the year, not just at tax season, because there's so many things that you missed. So I know that for sure, because I've encountered that so many times, and I'm like, do you know the thousands of dollars in write-offs you missed because you just failed to record a transaction?
Exactly. You are so
right.
You are so 100% correct. So I've been doing taxes forever. My mom worked at the IRS for 30 years. So, I have stories upon stories and stories. And, just like she said, there's so many tax write-offs that you can take. And if you're waiting to tax season to find those out, well, here's the thing, guys. Tax season is next year. So it's impossible really to go back and do all these things that you should have been doing last year. It's really important that you're working with someone throughout the year, because they're going to help you get your goals. I sit down with my clients on a consulting basis, for example, and say, what is your goals for this year? Is it to buy a house, or is it to save as much money? Those are two very different goals. And so you need to structure your business and personal life to really support your own personal goals, and so that tax person that you hire once a year, they're amazing, but it's tax season. So they're just trying to get the taxes done and, kind of keep going versus, at least having someone look on a quarterly basis, even just to make sure you're on the right path.
I like that. Structure your business to support your goals.
Yes.
So I don't think we do that enough. Well, a lot of times we're thinking short term. But if we're really business owners, we need to look at why are you in business? First of all, why? And what are your goals? What is it that you want this business to accomplish for you? How is this going to help you achieve your mission? And then establish those goals, and then work from there to determine what you need to do to accomplish those goals. So that's really good. Structure your business to support. Thank you so much for that, Phyllis.
You're welcome.
So you know a lot about like the finance industry, the bookkeeping and payroll and all of those types of things. Well, when you start along your journey, what were some challenges that you faced in your business? Because we all know that we all have a certain level of expertise, but we're not experts in everything. So what were some of the challenges that you dealt with and have overcome in your journey?
That is so, so true. You could be an expert at whatever you think you're expert at, but when you start a business, it's a whole different ball game, because when you're working for somebody, you're in essence a piece of a big puzzle. And so, you know, somebody else is going to pick up the slack if you go on vacation, or if your child is sick, you can, you know, I have a 10-year-old daughter, you just take off of work and you don't have to do anything. You know, it's a lot different from when you start your business. And so, you know, my story is 4.5 years ago, I was working at this place, and it just wasn't for me. You know, and in the 5 months that I was working there, it got to the point where literally, you know, I was accounting, I was HR, I was a sales manager, I was a customer support manager, I was all these different titles. So it was like a boot camp in learning how the business runs. And so I just quit that job because it was my time. And so, you know, for me, the journey was getting the grind of going from making a good salary to zero. You know, I didn't do what some people do and, you know, kind of working on the side. I was doing consulting and taxes throughout all the years. But as far as starting my business, it was, how do you get clients? You know, that's really number one, is how do you get clients? And so my thing for me is, I'm a true introvert. You know, I'm an accounting back office type person. And so I had to start going to networking events, you know, and I, as an introvert, was not really all for that. But that's what I started doing. And one of the things I did was I went to networking events where my target market was, you know. So for example, I was going to entrepreneurship workshops, and then I would, you know, raise my hand, answer a question. And one of the trainers there, he literally said to me one day, you know, hey, why are you sitting down in this class? You should be teaching one. And so he actually, you know, really helped me start my journey, because he allowed me to teach a class at the business center where other entrepreneurs were at, talking about what I can do for accounting. Therefore, I was getting clients from that, you know. And so really it just became that, you know, slowly building and slowly grinding. But you really don't know what you don't know. But there's a lot of resources. There's podcasts, there's books, you know, Google is your best friend. Take a night class, you know, or reach out to certain people, you know, just like I saw this post for even to have this event that we're doing right now. It's like, you know, reach out to people and connect, because you don't really know what that connection is going to bring for you.
Absolutely. And I like how you talked about networking, because I think it applies just like it does when you're networking locally as you do it when you're online. And yes. I tell people that all the time, is networking is not dropping your link. It's like getting into a room, even if it's a virtual room, right? And showing up and being that authority, not selling, but educating. Yes. You showing your expertise by answering the questions, right? Or
exactly.
Provoking questions that can, you know, build engagement, and that people aren't really thinking about, but they need to know. And then they're going to be like, oh, you know, let me come to Phyllis, or let me come to Shanté. Let me talk to her more. And like you said, you never know, that person may become a client, or they may know other people that they're like, oh, I know people that need help in this area. And who else better than somebody that I built a connection with, that at this point, I know I like them, I trust them enough to refer them to people that I know, right?
Exactly. I mean, she's making a really good point. You know, going back to, you know, structuring your goals. For me, my business goal was, I didn't really ever I don't, and still will never have, you know, like a one location in Las Vegas. I have a meeting place where I meet clients, but 95% of my clients, they're all online. I wanted an online-based company where I could be sitting here in Las Vegas. I'll be in California tomorrow still working. I've been in the Bahamas, you know, so I can pretty much run my business from anywhere. That's not everyone's dream, but that is how I structured my business. And so the online community is huge. You know, I'm in groups where there's people, you know, accounting groups where we kind of, you know, help each other and learn from one another. But I'm also in groups, like Shanté said, that has my target market, you know, especially during tax season. You know, I don't need to sell that I do taxes. Okay, that's great. If you go to my page, you'll see that. But what I could do is answer people's tax questions, you know, and it's, you know, giving back to people and helping them and giving those free resources. They may not hire you, but they may, when you keep doing it, oh, you know what? PKJ Consulting, we see that name and she's answering a lot. She's really helpful. Let me reach out to her for a consultation call, you know, and then see what happens and how you go from there. So definitely.
Absolutely. And I know I heard you say that you are, virtual. Yes. I'm the same way. And I know a lot of people are. And that's such a great position to be in, where you're able to be anywhere and you're
Yes.
still able to do business and you're not locked down to one location. And for a lot of us as entrepreneurs and business owners, that's why we got into this, is to allow for that flexibility, right?
Exactly.
We can live the life we want without limits. So why be limited to one location when you can do business with people all around the world? And so you have been able to accomplish that. So for the people out there, not just the introverts, but there's a lot of us that are introverts. And I always say that's not an excuse. But how were you able to manage to build a clientele internationally? So it's not just local to your geographic area, but that you are able to work with international clients.
So for me, honestly, it was two things that I did. So when I started getting clients here in Vegas, I started automatically structuring it as, I'm not coming to your place to do the accounting, because then I'm your employee or independent contractor.
Right.
So the clients I started getting here, I was working remotely. So I started understanding the tools that I needed to make that happen. Okay, I need more than one computer. I have 6 or 7 computers, so that I can make sure that works properly. I started hiring independent contractors. And then what happened was I was getting clients here in the online community, just like myself, who I have clients in Las Vegas I've never met, which is, when you think about it, is kind of crazy. But some of those clients, so some of those clients started referring me. And then the other thing that I did that I tell everyone to do is something like this. Shanté is where she's at. I'm all the way in Las Vegas. Maybe she'll come to Las Vegas when we meet in person. But I do a lot of free training. I do stuff with SCORE. I do, any type of thing where I can give back and train, people who are in the online community. Well, what do? We watch those webinars, we watch those things. And so the online community starts reaching out to me because they saw a webinar or a vision board or some type of event that I did. And they may be in North Carolina somewhere, or they may be in Costa Rica somewhere, because anything that you do is online. So that's something that I always tell people. Don't focus on trying to hurry up and make money. Focus on how you can be a free resource to people, because then people are going to start, thinking of you as someone who can do what you're establishing yourself as the expert, in essence, when you do those type of things.
Absolutely. Yeah. So position yourself as a resource.
Yes.
And I guarantee you the money will come. Okay. I know that from personal experience, so I can testify that is accurate. So, don't be a hoarder of information and stingy with information, because you want people to win. You want people to be successful. And it's all going to come back to you anyway.
Exactly.
As you bless others, you're blessed.
Yes.
So, I think if we could get that concept, we'll be more successful in our own lives. So that is so good. So you had much success over the past 5 years in your business. What would you say has been your greatest success thus far?
Ooh, my greatest success. I honestly probably say since the day I started, I've never operated at a loss. So for me, someone who does accounting and bookkeeping, looking at numbers, I've never had a loss in the business. And then every year over year, because I look at my numbers, I'm continually growing. So as far as having like one big accomplishment, the one I could think of recently, which was big for me, is I did a SCORE event where 1,000 people were on that event. And so, which is really big, I'm like, okay, it's a lot of people that you're talking to. And so at the end of that event, I was talking about the benefits of, doing accounting and doing your accounting year round. The lady sent me the sheet of people, doing reviews. And it's really, to get all that information, you're like, okay, this is what people thought about you. And 900 people said I was helpful, and only one person said no. So, to get a 900, like pretty much 100% yes, this webinar was helpful, was really, really amazing. And, and so 2 to 3 weeks after that, my whole calendar was 100% booked, and I've gotten some really great clients from that webinar. So honestly, in this year, that would really be my biggest success story.
Well, congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't want to overlook the fact that you said, that you weren't in the red. Okay. Because that is a big deal. And I tell people that, like, even me as an event producer, I tell people the story all the time when you hear about these millionaires and billionaires, okay? Revenues is different than profit, okay? And people just think that if, oh, I'm not profiting this much, they're so quick to give up because it didn't happen for them quickly. But that doesn't mean that you're not a success. And what I always tell them, I say, look at some case studies. Look at Amazon. Amazon didn't even start turning a profit until a couple of years ago. And people are often shocked by that. Yes, they're a multi-billion-dollar company, but they have overhead and other costs, right?
Exactly.
Your overhead is what your biggest cost, your labor are your two biggest costs.
Yes, labor. She just said it. I mean, yes. So that's she. I mean, it's funny that she said, because labor is your number one most expensive cost, because we're always so, one thing that helped me always turn a profit every single month is labor. I want to learn first. So a lot of times when people start a business, yes, you need to learn how to delegate and outsource. I mean, you need to definitely do that. There's no way I can even be having this conversation today if I didn't have a team. But when you first start, for me, I needed to learn how to do everything. I needed to learn how to do marketing. I needed to learn how to do my CRM system. I needed to be an expert so that when I hired people, was cognizant of how much time should this take, because labor is expensive. And if you're not hiring the right people, it's expensive to fire them. It's expensive to onboard another person. You don't know what's, kind of lawsuits will happen. So, you really need to keep your labor costs low and make sure you keep track of them. And a lot of people don't do that. They just look at their bank account. But if you take 5 seconds and look at what you're spending in labor, I have clients where I always say, okay, you're just running your business just to pay your team, right? Because you're not making any money, but your team is making all kinds of money, So, so that's why it's important to really look at that.
Absolutely. And I like how you said to learn everything. You want to know the ins and outs of your business. You don't want to be blind to it. And I that is so important. It's not that you do everything, but you need to know what's going on in your business. Because even people that hire out, some people that have gone into bankruptcy because they had people on their team that weren't ethical, right? And they didn't know what was going on, and they were spending money or doing things, mismanaging money that they were not properly using it for. So, but once you know it, don't go it alone. Figure out what needs to happen. And like you said, hire the right people, delegate. And it's not always hiring. Like you said, you use contractors. I use contractors, right? So that's a different model. So employee versus contractor. So you need to know the benefits of both and the risk of using both, but delegating and outsourcing so that you can focus on your area of genius. And you move from working so much, in your business, in the trenches, to working on your business.
Exactly. I like how she said, focus on your area of genius. One of my friends has said that, and it just sticks with me anytime I hear someone say that, because, as business owners, okay, first we start off doing everything, and that's beautiful. But a lot of times, I have clients who are like, I do my own bookkeeping. I'm like, that's fine. But while you're doing that, you're not focusing on what your true passion is, So do you like bookkeeping? No. And then, when I get in there, I'm like, you realize half this stuff is wrong. So you're not even doing it. You're not doing it correctly. And then I have clients who, for example, when I get in there, they have invoices that they didn't follow up for 6 months. So imagine me, I have an invoice that I sent to Shanté 6 months ago, and I haven't followed up. I haven't said, hey, have you paid? And then you hire someone like myself, and it's like, okay, but Shanté is off and running somewhere. So, it makes it a lot harder to get her to spend this money 6 months later. And so when you focus on what you're good at, what your passion is, it makes it easy to hop out of bed and run that restaurant, to run that online boutique, to run that e-commerce store, to run whatever it is that you love to do. And then you can build that and make a lot more money at it, and then focus on building your team, and write down what it is that you need and what you don't like to do, and step by step, you hire that marketing person, you hire that bookkeeping person, you hire that admin assistant, that VA, you slowly start to build your team, and then reassess. Once a month I sit down, I look at my team, I look at what they're doing. I may need to shift some stuff around, because you really want to make sure that you hire your team and they're serving your goals, but also we're all humans. So Shanté may have some other stuff going on in her personal life, and her work may start to, slip up a little bit. We need to always check on people because you don't know what's going on with them. So, it's really important to hire the right people.
Yeah. And that's a big responsibility too. So like we're talking about, this thing about being our own boss is great, but it's also a huge responsibility. When you think about, not only do you need a team, but you're responsible for a team, and you're responsible for their well-being and making sure that they have a pleasant experience and that they want to show up for you and be and function at their highest level. So we need to think about that, and that means thinking about your approach as a as a leader, and how are you helping them? How are you setting them up for success? Things that a lot of times we don't think about, but as we are growing our team, those are things that we definitely need to think about and really appreciate our people. And I say that because a lot of times we start off appreciating like our customers and our internal team members. And then as we grow and start making money and start getting clients, it's kind of like we lose that focus. And so I don't want people to lose that focus. So how important do you think having a customer focused business is to your success and other business owner success?
I would say it's number one. The money is going to come, but really giving that great customer support is number one. One thing that I know what my clients say, when they've hired other companies in the past, is that they may email their accountant and they don't get a response for 2 weeks. Now, yes, unless the IRS is knocking on the door, it may not be a 911 emergency, but people want to feel like you care about them, and so I try to make all my clients feel like they are my only client. Really, it's a virtual CFO team. So I try to respond to all my clients within 24 hours. And if not, a quick, hey, I got your email. I'll get back to you. How are you doing? Oh, happy birthday. Really connecting with that customer, because it's really important to make sure that you're not treating your customers like a number. And even if so that's like a service-based business, because you're not going to have as many customers. But even if you have an e-commerce business, and so you have hundreds and hundreds of customers a month, beautiful. But, create like a little email template that just says, hey, thank you for purchasing. We really appreciate you. Have a great day. Make people feel grateful that they are spending money with you, because I always tell somebody, when people want to start a company, they say, oh, I'm scared to because there's a lot of Fashion Novas out there, or maybe there's 1,000 restaurants. And I always say the same thing. There's a Walmart, a Target, a CVS, and a Walgreens, all within 6 blocks of each other. So they all have open and they're all doing successful. They just have a different way of doing what they do. So don't ever be afraid to start your business. But if you focus on the customers, your business is going to grow and flourish. And you can also get feedback from them. Ask your customers, what can I do different to serve you? How can I improve? Because getting feedback is very, 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 very important, especially the clients that you have probably the most difficult interaction with. Those are the ones that's going to really help you understand things in a different perspective.
Yeah, I was watching a program the other day, and it was like, I think you're in Vegas. It was one of the like best buffets like in Vegas, and the manager, what she said was her goal is to look at all of the negative reviews. That's her main. She don't care about the positive reviews. All she care about are the negative reviews, and how are we going to resolve these negative reviews like today. So what are we going to change? What are we going to change? What are we going to improve in our process so that we're not getting these negative reviews, that we can turn this around? And I thought that was so interesting.
Yes.
So feedback is your gift to, to bettering your business, because it's all about the customer experience. Really, I don't care really if you have a product, if you're an e-commerce business, product business, service business. It's really all based on relationship and the experience that the customer is having when they're engaged with you, when they're interacting with you. So that's so super important. So thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
Yes. So you look so happy and excited and passionate about what you do. But like I said, I know there's challenges. It's a lot of hard work that goes into to running a successful business. What keeps you inspired and motivated to keep going day in and day out?
Honestly, I love what I do. And so, when the times get hard, especially like during tax season, or maybe I'm working with a difficult client or, a situation that's stressful, I always think about what is the alternative, and so for me, the alternative is going back to 9 to 5, and I don't want to do that. The money was great, corporate America. And when you're an accountant, like I was doing accounting and HR. So when you do that, you kind of know the numbers. So it's easy for you to make some good money, but it wasn't driving my spirit, me growing up in the Bay Area, I saw a lot of kind of mom and pop stores, and I would see them open and then I would see them close. And I would, talk to my mom, who, like I said, worked at the IRS, and then my father worked at the bank. So numbers is just a thing. Yeah. And, she would say they would close because, they didn't have the money or funding or income. And so it's always been a passion of mine to work with entrepreneurs. And so I love what I do because I know I'm helping other companies achieve their goals. When I have a client who opens up a new business, or I have a client who says, who refers me, when I have clients that refer me, it means I'm doing a great job. And I would probably say 70% of my clientele now comes from referrals, which means I don't have to spend money on all this extra marketing and all these social media things. It means that my business now speaks for itself. And so that really is what keeps me going. But it's not easy. It's not something I'm like, okay, woo. But what I do sometimes when I'm stressed, I just take a pause. You just take an hour, go for a walk, read a book, just relax, and then you come back to it with a fresh mind. And so it's just, I love what I do. So that's what makes it a lot easier than, other situations. And I have a 10-year-old daughter. And that was part of the reason why I started my business. When I was working full time, anybody knows me, I'm a workaholic. So I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and be working till 11 o'clock at night. But when I was working at this place, I was there at 7 o'clock in the morning sometimes and not coming home till like 9 o'clock at night. So I wasn't able to take her to school and I wasn't able to pick her up. And so it was kind of bothering me that I don't want to miss those years of her growing up, helping someone else build their own dreams. And so now that, as a mom, I get to, in the middle of the day, go to all her award ceremonies, or if she wants to go, I can pretty much be there for her whenever I need to. And that's really what keeps me going. And then she sees me and she's like, okay, mommy, I want to start my own business too, which warms my heart. So, so that's really what keeps me going.
That's great. You're setting a great example. And that's why we get into this too, so that we can have more time to spend with our families. So is there anything that you would do differently if you had an opportunity to go back to 5 years ago? What would you do differently, if anything?
I would probably, what would I do differently? I'd probably build the structure. I'm one of those people who, like Shanté comes to me and says, okay, I need a contract for this. And then last second, I'm trying to figure out how to do the contract. So maybe I would have a little bit more structure instead of like stressing myself out last minute to get stuff done. And then possibly, probably doing a little bit more marketing and understanding how that works. That's probably what I would have changed in the beginning. What were some other things? And really just defining my target market, because when I first started, it was like I was just taking whoever was hiring me, I was working 10 hours, going to locations, and whatever was coming my way, I was saying yes to, because I was trying to build a business instead of doing what I tell other people to do and taking my own advice, which is figure out what your target market is. What does that person look like? My target market is someone online, people who don't need an in-office person. And so it was like, why was I taking these in-office or even, thinking about doing these things? So that's what I would do differently, target market and really hardcore focus on that.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that, because I've been talking about that a lot lately, and I had put out a post about it, because I saw so many entrepreneurs struggling and getting to the point where they were losing hope. And I said, wait. No matter where you are, you can start anew. It's a new day. Yes. It's a new opportunity. And that was one of the main things that I said. So catch that, audience, what she just said there about finding your niche. I know when I started, you want to help people, and you're trying to do this, and then people are calling and you want to get clients. But really, if you focus on who your target audience is. You don't have to worry about who's not going to pay you. And then being stressed out because you have a service that people are not signing up for because they can't afford it. When that's not even your client. That's not even the one you should be approaching. Right? So you want to find out who is your target audience, where are they, and what your message is that's going to speak to them.
Exactly.
Would you agree?
I definitely 100% agree, and focus on what you like to do. You know, when I started, I was trying to do resume writing and I was doing, and you know, and it is like, okay, that's great. But then people got confused as to, okay, what do you, because you do everything. And it's like that, yeah, okay, I could probably figure out everything, but then what do I hire you for? You know, and so, yes, figure out your target market and figure out what you really are good at. Doesn't mean that you can't do the other stuff, but have that hardcore, what is going to bring in at least 50 to 60% of my revenue? And then the other stuff that you do, okay, fine, but that's who you need to focus on, because that's what's going to bring you joy and not stress you out and keep you growing. And those people are going to refer you to other people, you know, so, and then you'll know how to advertise properly.
Yeah. And it goes back to your zone of genius too.
Yes.
Yeah, we can do a lot of other stuff, but what are you really good at? What problems are you the best at solving and that you enjoy doing? Right?
Because until you get money like Revlon, you know, because for example, if we turn the TV on right now, Revlon is going to be advertising, you know, wear this lipstick if you're the stay-at-home mom, if your husband comes home. But if you watch a Revlon commercial on a Friday night, it's like this ba 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 boom, about to hit the club type commercial, because they know how to go to their target market all throughout the day, any day. So unless you have Revlon type money, you really need to make sure your marketing at first is geared towards exactly what you want. And then you could do segmented marketing depending on the day. And you also need to know, especially if you're online, because most people who are going to be watching this are online community, make sure you're posting at a time where your target market is. If I want to get some clients in New York, but I'm posting at, 10 o'clock out here, that means it's 1 o'clock in New York. They're probably asleep. So make sure you keep those things in mind when you're doing your social media and target marketing and things of that nature.
That's good. And if you have a business page, which I highly recommend, and that you properly set it all up and you have it verified, or you have a group, it provides you with analytics, insight into the interactions on your page that can be so helpful to you. So if you didn't know that, there's a little tip. And it will tell you, like, even in, I manage a lot of groups, and even it tells us how many people, who we have, the demographics, and when they're most engaged in the group, where everybody is from. So that is very helpful, because a lot of people get stressed over posting in social media and being on too long, and when to post, and when is they going to get the most value, and how to get the most engagement. That is an excellent tip. You have to know your target market, where they are, and what times that they're usually available to see what you have to share, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's really good. So what are 3 things that you would share with our audience for tips or recommendations for how they can build a more successful business?
I saw that question and I was like, okay. And I had 3 and then I don't know what I had. So I'm coming off the whatever top of my brain. Number 1, set goals. Honestly, that is number 1, because you don't know what you're trying to accomplish, or if you've accomplished it, if you don't set SMART goals. And if you don't know what SMART goals is, it's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. Every month, every year I set, my annual goals. This is my goals for the year, but then every month I also set goals. What do I want to accomplish this month? How many clients do I want to get? How much money do I want to make? What if I want to make this amount of money? What does that break down to? What kind of training do I want to do? How many events like this? I even set event goals of, okay, well, I want to do 3 events online somewhere. Because when you do that, it starts to break down into, well, how do I achieve getting those goals? Okay, I need to do these specific tasks to accomplish those goals. So that really is number 1, is to set goals. Number two, I would say, I said earlier, structure. So you really need to kind of understand your structure and your process for your business. Okay, you hire a new client. What does that look like? Do you need to get contracts in place? Do you need to make sure the invoicing is solid? What kind of software systems are you going to be using? What does that whole entire process look like? If you're a social media manager, okay, what kind of Instagram, whatever, all of that needs to be put in place, because what happens a lot of times is we get a new client and then we're trying to figure it out. And then we do it and we're doing it over and over again. Get some software programs. So number three with software, that's the thing I'm gonna say. Get the right software programs for your business. Automation. That's number three. Automation is key, because once you're able to automate processes, okay, a person buys something in your Shopify store, it should automatically be set up that exactly when that thing is going to be shipped. You automatically have that thank you email going out. You automatically have them getting their gift receipt. You automatically know that you ship on Thursdays and you just whatever. And then whenever your kids come home from school on Thursdays, they sit in there for 2 hours, pack it. If you have automation, automatically these invoices go out. It makes your life so much easier, because in essence, life happens. You have kids, you have husbands, you have wives, you have work, you have school. Things happen. People get, car accidents, unfortunately, hospital, kids break stuff. And people love you to death, but the person still wants their work done. People are very understanding, but they still want the stuff to get done. And so if you know that you set up your business in a way that a lot of stuff is automated to the point where even when life happens, it won't shut all the way down, you'll start to really be successful.
Oh, that is so good, because look, life happens to the best of us.
Yes.
You don't want life to happen and then everything is shut down. You go out of business and you're not making any money. I so agree. And I think we mentioned the top three things that I always recommend is delegate, outsource, and automate wherever you can. And like you say, that seems so easy. So you put up the upfront work to make sure everything is in place. So you don't have to worry of, did I send that email? Or did I miss it? Did I follow up with this person? It's all automated. And another thing is automated, you get to hear the ching. So you're setting it up. Again, it's a smarter way of working. And I tell people, you want to work less and earn more. Okay. Yes. I don't know about you, but I don't want to work harder. Right. I don't want to be overburdened to the point that, I'm successful, but I'm so overburdened that I'm ready to give up this business.
Exactly.
Because one of the high percent of entrepreneurs, why they fail or go out of business is, I think, second after cash flow problems is burnout.
Yes. So, stress. Yes.
Stress. Right. And that affects your health. Okay. So automation, delegate, get things off of your calendar. Don't feel like you have to be in control of everything. Trust people enough that there are other people that are experts at what they do. Trust them. Automate as much as you can. So that was an excellent tip right there. And I don't know about you, but I like to hear Ching, wake up to email notifications that I've been paid, right?
Yes, that is what, and that's funny because automation was actually my word of 2019. So I've been putting in as much things as place, I have recurring tasks set up, and I'm going to tell you guys a product that I use. It's called Boomerang. If you haven't heard it, download it immediately. So Boomerang is this software that I'm in love with, and what it is, it's an email software for people who have Gmail, and I think it works on Firefox too. But what you could do is you can pause your email. So let's say you have a million things to do and you have a habit of, like myself, where I want to answer every email immediately. You can pause it. But one thing you could do is you can set up recurring emails. So if I know every Tuesday at 4:00, I got to email Shanté and ask her, hey, what's the payroll for your, have you approved payroll? Every 3:00, same time, nothing different. I can set this up to go to her 3:00. It doesn't matter if I'm having this conversation right now. I could be in Hawaii. I could be wherever I want to be. And she's going to always get that email, because if you don't do those type of things, and let's say payroll doesn't get done because you forgot to send that email, that's not a good look. So it is an amazing software. You can schedule stuff to send later. So I can type email at 3 o'clock in the morning. I can say, you know what, send this email at 8 o'clock when I, normal business hours. So it does a lot of good stuff. So that's one software. If you are really into automation, get that. It's amazing.
If you don't know how to do these things, there are experts. I know some folks. I'm sure Phyllis knows some people that can help you out. But that is the key right there. Automation, automation, automation. It's going to make your life so much easier. So thank you so much for that. I have one more question for you before we close the show. And I ask this of all my guests. So if you had a magic stick and you could change anything in the world, what would it be?
I would get rid of homelessness. To be honest with you, that would be number one. It would literally be to, anytime we see a homeless person, some magic bus comes, picks them up, and then just put them in a home somewhere. I mean, we have so much free space everywhere that is just unutilized. So that would be the number one thing.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being on our show. I know our guests really enjoyed you. I enjoyed you. You gave a lot of awesome information. And so we're so appreciative of it. Before we close out, can you share with our audience again about your services and where people can find you?
Sure. So PKJ Consulting really is a one-stop shop for that startup and small business owner who really has a desire to understand the goals and ways they want to accomplish them. We do accounting, we do bookkeeping, we do taxes, we do payroll, we do everything finances. We also do LLC setup, business plans, and also I do a lot of consulting. So I am that resource for people who want to talk about their finances with their business and things of that nature. That's really private, but you really don't want to share that with your best friend, So that's really what I do, and I'm very passionate about it. In terms of finding me, I am PKJ Consulting everywhere. So I have a Facebook page. You can email me at info@pkjconsulting.com. If you go on my website, there's a link. You can book a free consultation with me. If you click on the link, it'll automatically schedule something on my calendar, automation. And then, Instagram, LinkedIn, so anywhere and everywhere. So I appreciate being here today.
Thank you so much. And Phyllis will actually, after the show, leave her information in the comments of this live broadcast. We thank you so much for tuning in. Again, you have been tuning in to the Biz Talk Live Show, where we broadcast here every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so we're just so excited that we're sharing these entrepreneurship stories with you. I know as you all have been sharing with us that it's been helpful to you, and that's why we do this. We want you to pursue your dreams. We want you to be successful in business. We don't want you to lose hope. Understand that entrepreneurship is a journey. It's a process. Don't be afraid to start over, because every new day is a new day. It's a new start. Take that first step. Just take that next step. The next best step is what Oprah says. And so I hope that this been encouraging to you, inspires you, and empowers you. If you would like to be a guest, if you have a story you want to share, we do have openings for August. Please feel free to visit us on our website, www.intuitiveriskmanagement.com to apply. We would love to have you on our show. We also have openings for sponsorship. So we have openings for, I think, 8 sponsorships for the end, up through the end of the year. And you get promoted all week long from Sunday to the Thursday broadcast, which includes a banner. It includes a live post, a promo post. It includes a live mention on air of your business. So if you are a supporter of small business and the entrepreneurship movement, we encourage you to apply to be a sponsor for our show. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you back here next Thursday. Until then, continue to pursue your dreams. Have a great day.